When it comes to the current NBA product, it's no secret scoring is at an all-time high. And in 2024, watching a game from night to night, the amount of defense being played is minimal at best. But if you think that's bad, try to tune in for one of the All-Star games.
I am going to throw up. Okay, I'm going to throw up. I'm throwing up. You're making me throw up.
And if you watch any of these games the past 5 years, it is the biggest disgrace to basketball and insult to defense you've ever seen. And watching the players play, the general lack of competitiveness, lack of defense, it stems from one thing and one thing only. The superstar players, superstar athletes now want to be embarrassed by their peers and go viral on Twitter for getting dunked on or crossed up. In some respects, the social media era has ruined the NBA All-Star game, as even just 10 years ago, in the Rising Stars game, the actual All-Star game, there was at least some defense attempted to be played. But after the rise of social media, highlights going viral in an instant, you don't get Kyrie Irving in 2013 crossing up Brandon Knight nearly as much. And again, why that is, the superstar players don't want to be embarrassed in front of the whole world. And when it comes to the NBA dunk contest, which back in the day was the biggest event, was an anticipated event, nowadays superstar players, even mid-tier all-star guys, are just paralyzed to enter this contest. And looking back at 1988 in the dunk contest, you had MJ, of course an all-star, Dominique an all-star, and Clyde, also an all-star. That's 3 all-stars, 3 Hall of Famers participating in the dunk contest. Since 1988, only one time since that moment have 3 all-star players competed in the same dunk contest. And looking at the last 10 years combined, only 4 all-star players in that period have competed in said contest. And look, I don't want to blame one person one moment, but LeBron back in 2009, being the superstar he was, not going to the dunk contest was a major disappointment. And what made it worse, on national TV, he promised the fans he was going to do it in 2010.
Right now, I'm preliminary putting my name in the 2010 dunk contest Saturday night.
And looking past the dunk contest at the actual NBA All-Star game, in recent years this game has devolved from a semi-competitive game to now the worst game of pickup basketball imaginable. I mean, look at the 2020s era. Some of these scores the teams put up, it's like you have the sliders maxed up to 1,000 and the defense down to 0. 2023, 184 to 175. 2022, both cracked 160. And of course, the creme de la creme in 2024, the Eastern Conference scored a whopping 211 points. Of course, these guys are the best players in the world, the most talented, and the most skilled. Which kind of begs the question, why are the best players in the world allowing 200 points in an all-star game? And looking at the 2020s decade, the first 5 years of this decade, the winning team in the All-Star game is averaging 177.0 points per game. Now, looking at the 2010s era, the average winning team in that era scored 149.4 points per game in the first 5 years of that decade. In the 2000s, 134.8, in the 90s, 132.2. When looking at different eras of the All-Star game, it's had its ups and its downs. But looking at each of those eras, whether it be the 80s, 90s, or 2000s, the All-Star game in essence is a microcosm of the sport at the time. And of course now in 2024, with guys scoring 40, 50, even 70 points with ease, the All-Star game in a way is a reflection of the actual product during the regular season. As looking at the All-Star game's history, from 1951 to 88, only 2 players total cracked 40 points in this game. Those 2 players being Jordan and Wilt Chamberlain. Now get this, from 2016 till current day, less than a decade, 8 different players have cracked 40 plus points. In each of the last 3 All-Star games, at least 1 player has reached 50. Look, when it comes to these superstar players, it's an exhibition game, I get it. But is it too much to ask these guys to play a little bit of defense? Again, not Game 7 of the finals defense, intense like that, but just try to play at least some defense for the paying customer and the fans in the arena. And speaking of the fans, looking at the current state of the NBA, appreciation for fans has been lost by nearly every superstar player. As of course in the past decade, we've had a load management era with superstars, star players, even role players skipping games and practicing load management. And of course this year, that pesky 65-game rule had a lot of guys up in arms and pissed that it do their job and play basketball. And surprising to me, the players most against this rule were guys in their prime and really young. Of course, Tyrese Halliburton being one of the major advocates against it. You had Joel Embiid, Draymond Green, and now most recently, Jaylen Brown also complaining for the 65-game rule. Maybe it's a coincidence, but these guys who complain about this rule are all prominent players who were born in America. Coincidence? Maybe so, but even Devin Booker, another American-born player, told the media on record he wished back-to-backs were eliminated entirely. I don't know if foreign players, American players, have some sort of different mindset mentality, but looking at the guys who complain about the rule versus don't complain about it, a lot of the guys who complain about it are American-born players, and the guys who don't were born overseas. And like I've said in numerous videos before, a superstar's responsibility, if they're healthy, is to play as many games as possible. Look, if you have a broken ankle, a broken foot, a detached knee, we get it, you're not playing, you're actually injured. But injuries versus being hurt, minorly banged up, is a massive difference. A lot of these star players, they were hurt and not injured. Major difference. And looking at past eras, just even 15, 20 years ago, players who play in that NBA are on record saying their league was tougher, they were tougher, and it was much harder to score. Current players don't want to hear that and get butthurt every time some legend says that about today's game. But here's the thing, the current NBA players, night to night, day to day, are proving these guys 100% correct. As those guys back in the day made it a mission to play 78, 79, even 80 games every single season. And playing all 82 games, it was a badge of honor and a rite of passage as an NBA player. The fact some of these all-star players want that 65-game rule moved down to even 58 once again proves the old school players 100% correct. And when discussing this topic, the guy I always bring up is John Stockton, the OG Iron Man. And John Stockton, not the most talented point guard, most skilled point guard, but day to day, night to night, year to year, would suit up regardless of injury or if he was hurt. And looking at old Stockton past his prime, still a good player, as from age 37 to 41, at that advanced age, didn't miss a single game his last 5 seasons. And look, he wasn't some role player playing 10, 15 minutes per game. He was playing 30 minutes on average and starting every single game. When you have current NBA players in their early 20s, mid-20s complaining about an 82-game schedule, that proves someone like John Stockton was much, much tougher and way more durable. As Stockton not once in his prime, even past his prime, whined about playing games or playing heavy minutes. And one of my favorite stats of all time is that Michael Jordan and John Stockton in 03, both those guys last year in the NBA at age 40, played all 82 games. Now get this, before 03, there'd never been a player at age 40 who played all 82 games. And since then, still nobody's accomplished that feat in their careers. Now, to go full circle in this video, when it comes to the modern NBA All-Star Weekend, while not the most important problem in the NBA, it is one of the biggest. As looking at past All-Star games, 01, 98, 93, even 87, watching those games back then, the defense being played, while not Game 7 defense, was very reminiscent of today's product in regular season games. I mean, seriously, go back and watch one of these games, even the highlights. The defense being played is on par, if not better, than some of the worst defensive teams in today's league. I mean, seriously, go do that. Watch an old school All-Star game, highly competitive, defense being played, and then go watch the Pacers or Hawks in today's league. So, as always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.